Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news this noon. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson announces he is suing CNN for $50 million. The lawsuit comes nearly a month after the network reported Robinson made racist and lewd comments on a porn website. Who else is named in this lawsuit? Plus,
the road to recovery will be long, and we will be with Western North Carolina every step of the way.
North Carolinians come together in the face of tragedy. An update on the difficult task of getting federal and local aid to residents in the western part of the state.
also a bit of good news. Thousands of residents impacted by Hurricane Helene. How the State Board of Elections has ensured they can take part in the early voting process. At breaking news this noon, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson announces he is suing CNN for defamation. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. This all stems from a report by CNN that claimed Robinson made lewd and racist comments on a porn site. Today, his lawyer says the statements are lies and that they will prove it in court. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie was at Robinson's news conference. She joins us live with the basis of his lawsuit. Laura.
Yeah, Robinson's attorney right here just a couple hours ago said that CNN is a left-wing media organization that is working with Robinson's political enemies to engage in election interference. The complaint filed in Wake County Court today seeks at least $50,000 in punitive and compensatory damages. CNN last month reported allegations that Robinson had posted racist and sexually explicit comments on a porn website called Nude Africa. The network showed how it had tracked the username, other information, and an IP address back to Lieutenant Governor Robinson. Robinson has denied making any such posts. The lawsuit doesn't offer any evidence that anyone besides Robinson posted those comments, but attorney Jesse Bunnell says Robinson's name, email, date of birth, and other information were compromised in more than one data breach. Any person could have purchased and or used Lieutenant Governor's data to create accounts all over the internet, the lawsuit says.
This is a high-tech lynching on a candidate who has been targeted from day one by folks who disagree with me politically and want to see me destroyed.
The lawsuit also names a former porn shop clerk, Louis Money, who posted a music video saying Robinson still owes him money from his days as a customer. Money told WRAL Today he stands by that claim. We also reached out to CNN. We've been asking them for comments since this story originally broke last month. CNN responded this morning that they are declining to comment. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, nearly 1/3 of surveillance cameras across the southern U.S. border are not working. That is according to an internal Border Patrol memo. That Border Patrol memo blames a Federal Aviation Administration, which services and repairs all of those cameras. Border Patrol leaders are reportedly considering replacing the FAA with a contractor. As you know, immigration is one of the top issues in the November election.
Early voting in our state begins Thursday, and this morning we received some good news from the executive director of the NC State Board of Elections.
Despite the destruction caused by Hurricane Helene, 76 early voting sites will open to voters on Thursday in the 25 western North Carolina counties listed in the Federal Disaster Declaration. Before the storm, 80 sites were planned, so we lost just a few.
Voters from those 25 western North Carolina counties can drop off their absentee ballot at any early voting site in the state or at any county board of elections office in North Carolina. We have a voter's guide for you on our website. It has information about same-day registration, all the important dates you need to know, how to vote by mail, as well as information on voter ID requirements. Go to WRAL.com and search Election 2024.
Within the last hour, we got an update from Governor Roy Cooper and FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell after FEMA workers were threatened in the western part of the state this weekend. Both laid the blame for that threat squarely on misinformation. WRAL's Eric Miller was there and joins us live from the Emergency Operations Center. Eric, are officials aware of any other threats to FEMA workers?
Renee, both the governor and FEMA administrator said there was only one threat that was specific enough and credible enough to result in a pause in operations. That, of course, was that threat in Rutherford County over the weekend. This man, 44-year-old William Parsons, is facing charges in that case. The sheriff's office there saying he threatened FEMA workers in the Lake Lure and Chimney Rock areas while armed. However, both the governor and FEMA administrator said misinformation swirling out there, especially on the internet, can and does have a chilling effect on how many people apply for aid and does put people at risk. Governor Cooper said law enforcement is stepping up in response.
What we've done is we've got a coordination of law enforcement through the Department of Public Safety to work with our officials who are on the ground, including FEMA workers, to assist them, to protect them when necessary.
Now, Governor Cooper also called out Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, who he said is actually part of the problem here, and said has been spreading misinformation as well. Now, all FEMA field operations at this point have returned to normal, with inspectors back out going door to door as soon as yesterday afternoon. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell said she herself has been out there in the field and plans to go back despite this threat. In Raleigh, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, with restoration efforts ongoing in the western part of our state, this is a bit of bright news. The North Carolina Forest Service has teamed up with McDowell County Emergency Services to install footbridges, build and install these footbridges to people's homes. As you can see, a lot of damage from Helene, and they posted this to their website, their Facebook page, I should say, of teams actually building bridges across waterways so residents can use these bridges in the meantime until a more permanent solution is put into place. They say these donations came from Duke Energy and Lowe's Home Improvement.
Michelle, thanks. Clouds will increase this afternoon as our next cold front arrives, and we'll see showers tonight. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how the front could affect your morning commute.
We'll start off with a look here at satellite and radar, and you can see these showers here in Virginia, West Virginia, back here across parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. This is along a front. You can see that hatched line, so that's a trough that acts like a weak front. Earlier this morning, you see the purple shaded areas that pop up there in Virginia. We caught one of the ski resort cameras with a few snow flurries on it this morning, and it's possible that overnight tonight some of our ski resorts could see a few flurries, not likely to see much accumulation. What we'll see is increasing clouds. It's beautiful out there right now, but look what happens by the time we get to 4 or 5 o'clock. The clouds roll in and we begin to see some showers up around South Hill or Roxborough by 5 o'clock. We'll pause it again at 9 o'clock, and we're starting to see some of those showers as far south as Raleigh or Rocky Mount. Then overnight it continues to swing southward, and we'll pause it there at 6 a.m. It's not likely to be raining everywhere in the morning for the commute, and it may be that a lot of folks get by without seeing any rain during the morning commute. But we'll continue to have that potential during the morning hours, and then once we get to lunchtime tomorrow, we're going to clear things out. The amount of rain that we see will be minimal, about 1/10 of an inch or less. We continue to check out our tropical outlook. Looks like we could see 60% chance that a system develops in the Atlantic and moves toward the Caribbean. We take a look at the model plots, and instead of moving up toward the United States, the models bring it all the way back down here into the larger islands of the Caribbean. And the reason for that is this ridge of high pressure that is sitting over the southeast. That should keep that storm system down to the south. We also have some cold temperatures on the way, coldest that we've seen all season. I'll show you when that arrives coming up.
And we take a look at stocks this noon, because after yesterday's record highs on Wall Street, some trading giving it back today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, as you see there, it is down 127 points. S&P 500 is down almost 30 points right now. NASDAQ is down the most, down 180 points this noon. Today, Wake County Schools leaders will discuss feedback they've received about a proposed student reassignment plan for next school year. A few thousand students will be affected by the opening of 4 new schools in Apex and Fuquay-Varina. The district has held several open houses in recent weeks for people to give their thoughts about the plans. Now, a work session starts at 3:30 this afternoon, and leaders plan to vote on a final draft of that plan November 26th.
This evening, the Wake County School Board is also expected to vote on more funding for fire safety in schools. This comes after an inspection earlier this summer found several malfunctioning alarms. The board will consider more than $550,000 for a fire alarm system replacement at Davis Drive Elementary. It will also vote an additional $150,000 for fire watch services. Another $40,000 would be used for fire alarm inspection and repairs.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the two giant pandas are here. They landed in Washington, D.C. That is the panda in the crates there. Bo Lee and Xingbo are headed to the Smithsonian National Zoo, where they will live for the next 10 years. They traveled on a jet dubbed the Panda Express. The zoo's last three pandas actually went back to China last year at China's request. The loan is part of China's panda diplomacy program, but the zoo says they have been renovating their facilities to ensure a long-term, stable source of edible bamboo. They are ready for these pandas. They say they have new improvements like new climbing structures. They have rocks, hammocks, and pools all ready to go for the two adorable pandas.
Michelle, thanks. Next at noon, a rock formation in the Mississippi River is once again attracting tourists. But the reason people are now able to walk to the site.
State Fair opens in 2 days. At 12:30, we get a look at one of the final prep steps, getting all those rides safety approved.
And dueling presidential candidate visits to Pennsylvania. We hear from both campaigns as they visit the Keystone State.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Chicago police are searching for the people who vandalized a statue of Abraham Lincoln. That statue is located near the Chicago History Museum on the city's north side. It was covered in red spray paint with several messages on it as well. One referencing Lincoln as an executioner, an apparent reference to his ordering the executions of dozens of Dakota men who were involved in a violent conflict with white settlers in Minnesota. The number of people administering a life-saving drug to help prevent an overdose is on the rise. Emergency medical services records from June of 2020 to June 2022 show nearly 25,000 overdose patients received naloxone from bystanders before paramedics arrived. Researchers say it is a direct result of public health efforts working. The study lines up with the latest data from the CDC, which shows drug overdose deaths in the U.S. have dropped by 10% over the last year.
A new study shows an estimated 1 billion birds die during migration in the U.S. every year. Meteorologist Chris Michaels explains a tool that aims to predict migratory patterns and how you can help prevent more deaths in birds.
And with one cold front passing through, it was estimated overnight into earlier Tuesday morning that 28 million birds had migrated south through North Carolina. There's a team of researchers from Cornell, Colorado State University, and UMass Amherst who have come up with this tool called Birdcast, where they try to predict the migratory patterns of birds. And you can see the forecast for tonight is nearly 400 million to be flying south, and it kind of aligns with another cold front that's going to be passing through. In fact, we've been talking about these series of cold fronts over the past few days. As we look at the wind just above the surface, you can see that coming in from the north, helping to transport those birds that are going into warmer climates this time of year. What's interesting is that earlier Tuesday morning, I learned of an initiative that Raleigh just joined called the Lights Out Initiative. This goes from early September through the end of November, in which all non-essential lighting is cut off from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. because the lights can disorient the birds and cause collisions. There's a list of things that you can do at your own home to help prevent any such collisions and make for a smooth flight for their migration down south. We've got that list right now on WRAL.com.
A 12-year-old boy in New Jersey is dead after an accident in his own backyard. A tree limb fell on him while he was playing. Police arrived to find the child under the fallen tree and began CPR. He was taken to a local hospital where he died. Gusty winds are blamed for the accident.
Trash is washing up on Florida's beaches after Hurricane Milton. Take a look at it. This is video here from Palm Beach on the state's east coast. Those large blocks of yellow construction foam are everywhere you look. Volunteers with one beach conservation group spent the weekend cleaning up that beach, filling more than 100 trash bags. For the third year in a row, tourists are flocking to see this. In southern Missouri right here, that's Tower Rock, and they're walking to that site this year. The rock formation usually sits in the Mississippi River, separated from the riverbank. Not anymore, though. Climate models have predicted this region will become prone to very long, dramatic droughts that'll be punctuated by extreme fluctuation in flooding.
That chillier air this morning, had a jacket, and probably even this afternoon I might keep that jacket on because it's on the cooler side.
It really is. And I'm wearing short sleeves, so I'm definitely with the jacket for the rest of the day and really the rest of the week for that matter. We're going to see another cold front that comes through tonight and some showers along with it. That's going to drop our temperatures even farther. So we're cooler today than we were yesterday. It's a little breezy. We're going to see some gusts up to 10 to 15 miles per hour this afternoon, which isn't much. Some showers overnight tonight and potentially into the morning commute tomorrow along another front, and that will push in some of the coldest air that we've seen since March of this year. Take a look at Apex, and typically there are people walking up and down, this time of year, sometimes shorts and t-shirts, and it does look like I see somebody coming out of that building with some shorts on. There's some people that just wear shorts all winter around here, though. Our temperature is 61, so starting to feel a little more comfortable. Very dry out there. Our dew point is 39, and that is not temperature, but that is just the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. So 60s now all the way until 6 p.m. So feeling on the comfortable side. However, we will see increasing clouds like we talked about at the beginning of the newscast, and that may bring us some showers this evening. But right now, it's 59 in Roxborough and South Hill, 63 in Fayetteville, 62 Goldsboro, and 61 in Rocky Mount. So again, feeling a little bit more comfortable on the cool side, but comfortable, especially with all that sunshine. But still, compared to yesterday, our temperatures are about 15 degrees colder than they were yesterday, give or take a few degrees. That's a pretty dramatic drop. We really did have a lovely weekend in terms of temperatures. Overnight tonight, temperatures will drop down into the mid-40s. So this is what you walk out to tomorrow morning. 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. We may have some light showers and mid-40s. That is not comfortable at all. But it's even colder back to the north and west. For tonight, there's a freeze watch in effect for the northern mountains, and then freeze watches and frost advisories back to the west. And this is where our air is coming from, behind today's front. So our morning low, which again happens around 7 a.m., is normally 51. Tomorrow morning it's 46, and then we drop it into the 30s. So Thursday and Friday there could be some patchy frost, especially in our northern counties or some rural areas, and it may be parts of the viewing area go under a frost advisory. So we'll let you know if that happens. It also will not be clear enough maybe tonight to see the comet, but you could see Comet A3 most likely for the rest of the week. It's better to do it sooner than later. However, you'll be able to see it all the way up until maybe the 24th or 25th of the month. Early on, like tonight and tomorrow night, it'll be a little lower on the horizon, but it will be brighter. So look to the western sky about 45 minutes to an hour after sunset. In the next few days, that viewing should be really good. This is a picture of it right here, a photo that was sent in by Austin Smith from Ramshire. And it's going to be a little bit like the auroras were, where you really have to use your phone to be able to see it. It's harder to see with the naked eye. WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, send us some of your photos. We love to see them. It's a cool afternoon for us. 65 in Raleigh, 63 Durham, 68 in Fayetteville. It's about as warm as it will get. And of course, we're tracking this next system starting to bring some rain just a few hundred miles to our west. We start to cloud up by mid-afternoon. And again, we see those showers rolling through. We're going to see some of that from the Triangle area northward as we get into the evening around 9 or 10. And then in the morning hours, there still could be just a lingering light shower. We're also going to see those cooler temperatures, 59 on Wednesday, and then a little bit warmer as we get into the weekend. We're going to talk more about our tropical system out there coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Still to come, another social district could soon be coming to Raleigh. The proposed plans for the Village District and how tenants believe the impact could have on the area for years to come.
170,000 United Healthcare customers could soon lose their coverage with Duke Health Doctor. Now, tonight at 6, the steps you can take to try to keep your coverage.
We are honored to have members of the United States Air Force Concert Band here at WRAL today.
Right out there on the patio. Coming up in the next half hour, you can find out how you can attend a patriotic performance tonight in Raleigh for free.
Walgreens says it's closing about 1,200 locations, including 500 over the next year. The closures represent a significant escalation from a few months ago. That's when the financially struggling drugstore chain said it was shutting down 300 underperforming locations as part of a multi-year optimization program. The 1,200 closures announced includes the 300 closures announced in June. Boeing is turning to major banks and Wall Street to raise tens of billions of dollars in cash. In a regulatory filing, the company announced plans to borrow $10 billion from numerous banks. It also plans to raise $25 billion by selling stock and debt. Last week, Boeing's new CEO announced plans to cut about 17,000 workers worldwide.
Some meal kits sold in North Carolina are being recalled because of a possible listeria contamination. The meal kits were sold under the brand names Bistro 28 and Don Pancho. They could contain chicken that's been recalled due to a listeria risk. If you bought these meal kits, you should return them for a full refund or just throw them out. Starbucks is pulling back on promotions and discounts. The company has been quietly reducing the number of discounts it's been offering for long stretches over the past year. Starbucks and other restaurants have been leaning on discounts to woo customers after years of raising menu prices.
As we speak, inspectors are hard at work to keep you and your family safe at this year's State Fair. This is a live picture from the State Fairgrounds, where close to 100 amusement rides are under scrutiny.
The general election is exactly 3 weeks away from today, and the candidates are statistically tied. How both camps are ramping up their message in the run-up to November 5th. And we have a look here at your NC Education winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back.
And later, we're joined by members of the U.S. Air Force Concert Band to talk about their stop here on their 12-day tour. The State Fair is less than 48 hours away, and the work is well underway. State inspectors are on scene, checking every single ride to make sure that they're safe come Thursday. WRAL Sean Gallagher is there now. And Sean, I know from years past that this is a very meticulous process.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, take the Ferris wheel, for instance, right here. A lot of things you probably take for granted when you hop on, but they are checking every bolt, every screw, every wire to make sure that it's safe for you and then safe come Thursday, because this is a process they take very seriously, especially considering there was an accident on a different ride just about 10 years ago. You may remember 5 people were injured while riding the Vortex here back in 2013. The ride began moving as people were exiting and a family was thrown from it, causing some serious injuries. But as of today, 83 of the State Fair's 94 rides have been inspected by the Department of Labor, with each one meeting 100% satisfaction according to the manufacturer's specifications. Anything less, they say, is not acceptable. Those rides would not be open to the public until the necessary adjustments are made and it passes another inspection.
I bring my own family out here. I have a son and daughter and wife, and we ride the rides ourselves. And like I said before, we take this job very seriously. It's an important job, and we do our best to make sure everything is installed in a manner that's the way it's supposed to be done.
And each of these inspections are unique to each ride, from the giant Ferris wheel here to newer rides like the 210-foot slide. They have different aspects that these crews have to investigate to make sure that it's working properly. But the one thing they all share in common is safety. Sean Gallagher, WRAL News at the State Fairgrounds.
Sean, thanks. Be sure to stop by our tent to meet members of the WRAL team while you're at the fair. We'll be located in our usual spot on the northeast side of Dorton Arena facing Restaurant Row. Chris Michaels and Kelly Arthur will be there from 2 to 3 Thursday afternoon, and then Friday morning, Jeff and I will be there 10:30 to 11:30, so come on by and say hi.
Decision 2024, the fight for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are in a statistical tie right now with the election exactly 3 weeks from today. A new NBC News report shows 47% of Americans plan to vote early, 20% by mail, 27% in person. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is in Atlanta, where in-person early voting just kicked off in that state this morning.
Overnight, both presidential candidates in Pennsylvania.
We win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing.
Yes.
Former President Trump cutting short his town hall following 2 lengthy interruptions because of medical episodes in the audience, as many complained about the heat.
Would anybody else like to faint?
The event turning into an impromptu DJ session, lasting more than a half hour.
Let's just listen to music. Who the hell wants to hear questions, right?
Running through his favorite hits as the audience lingered. And this morning, there's new backlash against Trump's response when he was asked about concerns Election Day would not be peaceful.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics, and I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Last night, Vice President Harris playing that clip at her rally, adding,
Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged.
J.D. Vance, meanwhile, defending his running mate.
If you have a major reaction to an election in 2024, of course you ought to commit law enforcement resources to bring order back to our cities.
Here in Battleground, Georgia, in-person early voting begins today. Election officials are hoping to avoid the long lines and hours-long wait times of 4 years ago. And days after former President Obama warned Harris lacked enthusiasm among some black men, former President Clinton is also now stumping for Harris, reaching out to rural voters, too.
Is this the same Democratic Party that it was 20 years ago?
Interestingly enough, it's not as different as people think.
It's Gabe Gutierrez reporting. And with the election just 3 weeks away, roughly 40% of Americans say inflation is their top economic issue. A new Bankrate survey finds more than half say the U.S. economy is on the wrong track. Inflation is also the top issue among all age groups by a wide margin. Other top issues for the upcoming election include health care, affordable housing, jobs, government spending, the deficit, and prescription drug costs. Are you registered to vote? Do you know where and when you will vote? Learn about each of the candidates on your ballot, be informed, make a plan, and set a reminder to vote. You can do it all on WRAL.com. Just search vote.
Covering Wake County, the city of Apex says people can expect their utility bills to be back to normal in about a month. So back in July, a hack knocked the town's network offline and people couldn't pay their bills electronically. The most recent bills reflect the usage for a 3-month period, so they were twice, even 3 times the normal amount. A third-party company will review the town's utility bills in the next few weeks. New video of what's being hailed as a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, when you can still catch a glimpse of this rare comet and where to look.
And a patriotic performance will take the stage in Raleigh tonight. How you can enjoy the sounds of the U.S. Air Force Concert Band and singing sergeants. And in less than 10 minutes, we will hear some of them play live on this newscast. You can download the WRAL News app to stay on top of breaking news stories just by pressing the video on the bottom tab there to watch live briefings as they happen.
We'll Wolfspeed is getting up to $750 million from the U.S. Department of Commerce for its new facility in western Chatham County. The funding is coming from the Biden administration through the CHIPS and Science Act. Wolfspeed's new plant in Siler City will manufacture semiconductors for the future energy economy and artificial intelligence boom. Wolfspeed is also getting $750 million from investors and $1 billion from tax refunds. The plant is expected to open in full within the next several months. It will employ up to 1,800 workers. Halloween displays are mostly harmless, but that was not the case for an Ohio police officer when a giant inflatable pumpkin was on the loose. Dashcam video shows the officer responding to the runaway jack-o'-lantern that was blocking a road. Moments later, the great pumpkin attacks swallowed the officer whole. Eventually, backup arrives and helps to get the situation under control. The inflatable was then returned to its homeowner. We have seen pictures, and now there's video of Comet A3 as it flew over Russia. If you missed it, don't worry. NASA says it should be visible until October 24th. Look for it in the western sky just after midnight. Scientists believe this comet came from the Oort cloud, which is a large spherical shell of icy debris at the outer reaches of our solar system. Experts believe this is a once in a 80,000 year event. Pop singer Olivia Rodrigo proves it takes guts to perform live on stage. How the star bounced back from a brutal fall. And we certainly are not expecting anything that dramatic to unfold at a patriotic performance tonight in Raleigh. After the break, we will talk live with these members of the U.S. Air Force Concert Band about their 12-day tour.
We've been hearing them. They have been lovely. The U.S. Air Force Concert Band, but you'll get the singing sergeants as well tonight. They are on a 12-day tour with lots of stops around North Carolina. We are fortunate enough to have them not only right here on the patio, but playing at Raleigh Memorial Auditorium tonight. We cannot wait to hear that performance go on tonight. Joining me right now plays a mean French horn. We've been hearing it throughout this. Master Sergeant Brett Miller, thank you so much for bringing part of the ensemble here and playing for us. Give me a little brief history about how you only got started with this.
Thank you, Jeff. We're really happy to be here. So everyone you're going to see on stage tonight, you're going to see 70 total musicians out there from the Air Force Band. We are very passionate about music from very early ages on. Everyone you're going to see in the band and the singing sergeants has at least a bachelor's degree in music. Most of us have master's degrees in music. Some of us here have doctorates in music as well. So really a talented group of individuals. We get to serve our country by doing what we do very best, which is a great honor and a great privilege. So we love getting out in the communities, honoring, inspiring, connecting communities all across the country and the globe. It's a really fantastic job we love doing.
Well, it is certainly another level. You make the commitment to the U.S. through the Air Force, but also by playing, and I can't wait to hear some of it. So I'm going to let you get back in your spot here with that French horn right now and give us a blast here as we listen to the U.S. Air Force Concert Band minus the singing sergeants. That is just a little bit about what you can expect at tonight's performance at the Raleigh Auditorium. Don't miss United States Air Force Concert Band Singing Sergeants Tour. It is tonight on South Street. Concert's free. It's open to the public, but you do need tickets, so get those by calling the number on your screen, 919-996-9700. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Oh, what a musical treat that was. We thank them for their service to our country and also for sharing their talents here on the New News. They had to kick you out of the weather patio.
Anytime. They can kick me out anytime.
But I'm glad we had glorious weather there because at least we have sunshine right now.
We do. It looks beautiful out there. You'll notice just a little bit of cloud cover building in a few places. We'll start up here in Fayetteville. Just some high, thin clouds. Apex, though, starting to see some of those puffy cumulus clouds rolling in, and we're seeing that in Raleigh. Just a few of those there in Chapel Hill. So starting to see just a little bit of moisture ahead of that front. That will continue to build through the afternoon. And I feel like by the time we get to the evening commute around 5 o'clock, it will be mostly cloudy. So enjoy this little bit of sunshine while we have it. What we're tracking is the second front. Of course, we saw one yesterday. We'll see this one that comes in overnight. We'll have some scattered showers with that. And a reinforcing shot of colder air comes in behind it. So we are talking about the coldest air of the season. This morning, we dropped down to 43 at RDU, and that was the coldest that we'd seen since April. And then in a day or so from now, we're looking at upper 30s, which will be the coldest since March. And so we're getting in the swing of this fall thing, that's for sure. Take a look at temperatures right now. 60 in Sanford, 63 in Smithfield, 64 in Clinton, 63 in Fayetteville, and up near the Virginia line, it's about 60 degrees. And that's where we're going to see the cold front coming from. We had those little pink areas. We're going to roll through this loop again and take a peek. Y'all know that I like to ski, and I'm a big snow lover. So I went hunting some of the cameras up in West Virginia, and it is still flurrying lightly up there in some of the West Virginia mountains. We could see that in our mountains too with this system coming through. Now, not here, just in the mountains, but you can see that rain back to our west. Futurecast shows an increase in cloud cover mid to late afternoon and some of those showers by 5 o'clock up near the Virginia line. None of this is going to be terribly heavy. There's 9 p.m., but just some waves of light rain coming through. Before the morning commute, we may see a wave that comes through, and just going to be wait and see kind of a thing of how much we'll really see during the morning commute. It's a possibility. It should be light and patchy. And by the time we get to the middle of the morning, we'll start to see that moving on out. Our futurecast snowfall, though, man, it's kind of fun. We get to pull this out and show it to you up near Snowshoe and some of those West Virginia towns. A few flurries, and they're happening right now. And then Beach Mountain, Sugar Mountain, that's a little update with a little bit more snow. I mean, maybe an inch of snow in some of those highest elevations, and then down in the Smokies as well. It's not going to be much. We take a look at Boone, which looks, when we take a look at King Street, like it's getting back to normal as much as possible. As a matter of fact, this is a live look, of course. School starts again for the students at App State tomorrow. So they are definitely trying to get back to normal there in Boone as much as they can. It's going to be chilly across the state. Here in particular, tomorrow morning, it'll be gray and maybe a little drizzly at 46 and only 59 for the high tomorrow. And again, it's not been that chilly for an afternoon high since March of last year. 39, or this year. 39 Thursday morning, 39 Friday morning. There may be some frost advisories in effect. We don't typically see our first fall freeze until the last week of October for most of us, and then the first week of November for our south and eastern counties. So nice fall afternoon. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Definitely looking cool, though. Again, Wednesday afternoon, 59. It hasn't been that cool since March 27th. One more look at the tropical outlook, and it's a 60% chance that that system might develop. But of course, it looks like it's headed down into the Caribbean and not in our direction. Don't forget, Thursday, the NC State Fair begins. It'll be a cool day at 62, but a little milder for the weekend with highs in the 70s.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Pop singer Olivia Rodrigo takes a tumble during a live concert, but recovers like a champ. And that wasn't the only faux pas in this performance. Why some adoring fans say something was in the air. The winning Powerball numbers 14, 18, 33, 64, 67, and the Powerball is 14. The Power Play multiplier is 2.
And a live look at those big puffy clouds over RDU International Airport today as you watch WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Maybe a chance of rain just a little bit later today.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today.
And North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is suing CNN for defamation. This comes after a report that accuses him of making racist and sexually explicit comments on a pornographic website more than a decade ago. Robinson is seeking $50 million in damages from the news network. He's denied the allegations. Robinson is running for governor against Josh Stein, the state's attorney general.
This morning, Governor Roy Cooper gave an update on the impact of Helene. Governor Cooper said that 92 people are still missing after the storm that hit western North Carolina. At least 25 people were killed by the storm. Cooper also addressed the threats against FEMA workers. He said the disinformation is hurting victims of the storm and preventing them from getting the help they need.
Also, this new election day is just 3 weeks away, and you can cast your vote this week as early voting gets underway in our state. Starting Thursday, you can cast ballots in person at any polling place in the county where you're registered. You don't have to vote at your specific precinct until Election Day. Early voting runs through Saturday, November 2nd.
Pop star Olivia Rodrigo takes a fall during a recent performance in Australia. Wasn't part of the act. That's fan video of the moment Rodrigo fell through the stage. It happened as she sprinted across the stage, getting fans hyped. Just as quickly as she fell, she jumped back up and resumed performing. Earlier in the night, a bracelet getting stuck in her hair mid-choreography. And then in the other, Rodrigo's hair got caught in her microphone.
Oh, nice. Our pet of the day is a charming, handsome boxer mix looking for a loving home with a fenced yard. Inca dreams of having an owner who loves to throw balls for him to chase. Approximately 2 years old, weighs 45 pounds. Inca is strong yet polite and a well-behaved dog. He gets along well with other people, other dogs. He's even cat-friendly. Apply at redbarnrescue.com today to meet this wonderful dog.
And there could soon be yet another place for you to sip and stroll here in Raleigh. Today on WRAL News at 4, the plans proposed to city council members tonight for the Village District and the feedback it's already getting from businesses in the area.
NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.